Hello friends, Dhiman here. Now I am going to a Hollywood movie explain which name is The Lost City 2022 and IMDb rate of this movie is 6.1 out of 10. Loretta Sage, Sandra Bullock, is a writer known for composing clearing experiences highlighting an imaginary legend named Dash. She's amidst thinking of her most recent book, envisioning herself and Dash in a perilous circumstance including snakes and thugs. In any case, she takes note of specific things amiss with it and erases everything. She winds up constrained over the demise of her Voyager spouse from years earlier, alongside her marketing specialist, Davine Joy Randolph, who's requesting to see the most recent draft of her book. Later on, Loretta, wearing a purple sequined jumpsuit, is welcomed to an exhibition to talk about the book, egged on by her marketing expert and her virtual entertainment chief, Patty Harrison. She's reluctant to go when she discovers that the cover model for Dash, Alan Caprison Channing Tatum, will likewise be there. She goes at any rate, and Alan comes in front of an audience to immense praise from the fans, wearing a phony blonde hairpiece. Someplace over the middle of the show, a fan requests, "Run," to plunge Loretta. She endeavors to make an insincere effort, yet rips off Alan's blonde hairpiece, finishing the show suddenly. In the wake of being reprimanded by her marketing expert, Loretta finds her direction outside as opposed to heading to the following meeting she should be at. She isolates from Alan after a battle. She requires a vehicle, and is out of nowhere gotten in a dark SUV and encircled by baffling thugs. Alan sees her heading out and attempts to seek after them, without much of any result. Loretta encounters Abigail Fairfax, Daniel Radcliffe, a flighty very rich person who attempts to charm her with a lot of cheeses. He makes sense of that a relic indicates a secretive fortune off of a little island, which could be cleaned away by a fountain of liquid magma prepared to eject without warning. He requests that Loretta name her cost, yet she denies. He then uncovers that they have a plane sitting tight for her, and he takes her out. Back at the inn, Alan feels responsibility for what has been going on with Loretta. Her marketing specialist, and her online entertainment supervisor attempt to find her. He in the end calls an old mate he did yoga with, Jack trainer Brad Pitt, to assist with finding her by means of her smartwatch. He advises Alan to meet him on the island and he'll have her covered, in 48 hours or less. Loretta stirs, and is directed to a campsite where Abigail has settled in to explore the area of the fortune on the island. He has Loretta secured and requests she get to work. In the meantime, Alan advances toward the island in unadulterated touristy design and gets together with Jack, and the two go off in a little vehicle to Abigail's compound. After a short rest, Abigail pressures Loretta considerably more to interpret the little piece he's found indicating the fortune. She interprets it, yet he believes that her should rehash it. In the meantime, Trainer dispatches of some of his soldiers while Alan, kept out of the vehicle he should remain in, fills in as a futile reinforcement, periodically slapping a cohort or two. The pair at last advance toward Loretta, yet can't unfasten her out of the seat. They wind up conveying her, seat and all, out of the compound as blasts go off. They advance back to the vehicle, however before they can leave, Jack is shot in the head, with his minds all around Alan's face. They in the end load into the vehicle, with Loretta still in the seat, and take off. Abigail, irate that Loretta took the main interconnecting piece with her, requests her recover. Loretta and Alan pull over after a fast break, after Loretta had dropped out of the vehicle. Alan liberates her from the seat, yet after they return to the vehicle, it falls over the side of the bluff, leaving them unfit to contact the specialists. They ultimately advance toward the vehicle, however the telephone is annihilated, and Alan recommends they go through the wilderness to get to the air terminal to arrive at the specialists. Abigail's powers stay close behind. After a speedy outing in a little pound that leaves Alan covered with leeches, particularly on his butt, Loretta takes them out and afterward ultimately arrives at a cascade. It's here that Loretta utilizes the hint she took from Abigail to unravel the remainder of the baffling riddle he was attempting to settle, demonstrating the fortune is concealed in some place with vast tears. The two then wind up almost gotten by Abigail's partners in crime, scaling a mountain to get away from them. Alan attempts to help Loretta by pushing her from underneath, with his head between her legs. In the end, they come to the top. The two set up for business, discussing the experience they've had while in the end nodding off in a fairly little lounger. In the meantime, Abigail calls upon a triplet of cruiser riding hooligans to participate in the pursuit. In the first part of the day, Loretta in the end lets Alan know her thought process of him, making sense of that he's simply a cover model searching for consideration. Alan really uncovers he came from a family and appreciates being Dash as it satisfies the fans, and disdains Loretta for making an effort not to satisfy the fans. The pair start moving once more, in the end advancing toward a little town. Subsequent to chatting with the nearby police for insurance, the couple get tidied up and begin to get to know the town society. Meanwhile, the marketing specialist has willingly volunteered to seek after Loretta and get her covered. She takes a little contract to a small air terminal, where they at last tell her there's no ride. It's here she meets Oscar Nunez, and his goat, who are glad to take her there by transport. She ultimately arrives at a little police headquarters, just for them to tell her they're shut. She at last persuades them to help her. After a speedy dance egged on by a nearby lady, Loretta gains from her a hint where the pool of vast tears could very well be, and demands Alan to accompany her to chase the fortune down. Eager to find her experienced soul once more, she persuades him and he goes to get a few supplies. Nonetheless, she finds Abigail pausing, who recovers her and starts to drive off. Alan follows on a little motorbike. Following a short pursuit, Loretta sets within the vehicle ablaze while Alan battles inadequately against hooligans up top. Ultimately, the two are caught and prompted the island, where Abigail irately needs to track down the fortune. They advance inside, where one of his hooligans stumbles off a bluff side subsequent to taunting Loretta. They deal with a little passage and find a burial chamber holding up inside. In the wake of opening up a grave forcibly, it's found that the fortune is just gathered shells, a demonstration of affection for a man to his darling. Furious that they don't track down anything, Abigail traps Loretta and Alan inside a burial chamber as the fountain of liquid magma starts to eject, however not before his cohort leaves them a crowbar. Following a discussion for a couple of moments about the experience they've had, Alan utilizes the crowbar to get the pair out. Abigail is met by the marketing specialist and the police powers, where he imagines he's a guiltless casualty after his associate takes off with a boat. In the interim, Loretta and Alan scarcely get away from the burial place after numerous blasts, just to be recuperated by the marketing specialist. Subsequent to coming clean about Abigail, he endeavors to get away yet is handled by Oscar, who says he has the marketing specialist's back. Loretta and Alan recuperate on a close-by rock, reproducing the cover for her next book, which distributes months after the fact. In the last scene, the marketing specialist, the web-based entertainment supervisor, and Oscar are loosening up on an island following the send-off of their book, while Loretta and Alan are close by, discussing the relationship they've made throughout their experience. After a touch of odd discussion, they kiss. In a mid-credits succession, Loretta and Alan are partaking in some loosening up yoga. Here Jack Trainer returns. They're in shock that he's as yet alive, and he can't resist the urge to give them odd looks as they return to their unwinding. I hope you enjoyed this movie summary explanation. Then please don't forget to subscribe my small channel and press the bell icon. Thanks for watching this movie explanation.